Hello, my crafty friends. It's Michelle, the Southern Shell, and I am here to share with you a new video that I have created just for you. Let's jump right into the project. This video is part of a collaboration, the Take 5 Mixed Media Magic. This is hosted by Jeanie with Jeanie's Palette and Christy with Funky Junk Inspiration. Their channels will be linked in my description box below, along with a playlist of all the other wonderful creators joining us for this collaboration. The first thing I did was gather my supplies. I have this stencil here that have just some script on it, and it looks like a stamp. I went ahead and got that out and ready. I have these different printables that I got off of Etsy some time ago. They have words of faith, scriptural encouragement, and I trimmed each of them out. I'm going to now come in. Well, you see I've got them all organized in size because I'm going to need the different sizes here. Now I have a 12 by 12 piece of cardboard, and I'm going to cut this down to an 8 by 10. Once that was done, I came in with a smaller piece of card, found the center at the bottom, and then drew a line from the corner to the center piece on top, creating a basic tree shape. Now we're just going to cut that out. That was all cut out. I went ahead and took my bottle of water and I just spritzed this all over the top of that cutout tree there. I wanted to be careful not to get my little scriptures, my little words of encouragement wet there at the top. And I'm just coming in, I'm rubbing it into that cardboard. I should have let it sit just a little bit, but I was impatient. So I started peeling this off, and that wasn't too bad. I set the tree aside and I came in with my matte Mod Podge and I covered the front and back of this 8 by 10 piece of cardboard with my matte Mod Podge. Now I could have come in and used my gesso, but I had very little left in my jar and I just didn't want to use that. So I'm just going to go ahead and seal it in with the Mod Podge, and it worked just fine. Once that Mod Podge was dry, I came in with my folk art paint in Castle. Gave it a nice coat all across that cardboard piece. Now this is almost the same color as the cardboard, and it just has given me another look where it doesn't look like I've actually created this on cardboard. You can still see the divots a little bit, but it turned out great. So I went ahead and got my distressed inks out next. I do have my distress refresher out. I wasn't sure if my ink pads would be a little dry because I hadn't used them for a while, but they were good. This will not add ink to your pad, but it will refresh a dried pad. So it works wonderful. I've used it in the past, but these inks were good for me for today. Once that side was done, I brought it to the top, flipped the stencil around so that the script would be going the correct direction. And I just went ahead and used that same distressed wood and added some of the script up in that corner. I decided I didn't want to use that rusty hinge. I thought that was just too orange. So I came in with some black soot. And I added the black soot on top of here with some more of those script. And I can't read anything that this says. It's it's just loosely looks like letters. It could be in another language and I just don't know it, but that's okay. That medicine bottle there has some homemade texture paste that I have made, and it is just some white glue, some white paint, and some cornstarch. And I'm just using a palette knife there and just putting some on top and on the other edges, just kind of haphazardly around on this piece of cardboard here. And the lettering turned out good, but I think I put too much on this little stamp area because it did kind of bleed through a little bit, and but it turned out okay. So I came in with some Type Bond Quick and Thick and put it on the back side of that tree that I cut out. And I'm just going to lay it down on my board now. I want a little piece on top and some opening on the bottom. And now I can start pressing that on there. This particular glue I found up in my attic with my other crafting supplies. I have two new bottles downstairs that I've been using, and so I just went ahead and just tried to use some of that, and it was very, very hard to get out of the bottle. But I was able to use part of it, and then I came in with my hot glue around the edges there. Now just taking that palette knife again, and I'm coming in with some of that texture paste that I made and going over this tree just a little bit there. While upstairs gathering my mixed media supplies, I did find some texture paste that I've had. This wasn't even open yet, and I thought, okay, this should be good. But look at that. This brand new bottle of texture paste is almost empty because it dried out so much. And it's a glimmer paste. Now you can take some distilled water and mix some water in with that, which I should have done. I just took a little bit off of the sides and the lid, and I'm just going to just drag it across the top of this tree as well. And what I'll do is I'll gather up some distilled water and mix it in because I have several of these little jars. And if it's that dried up and it wasn't even open, I can only imagine what the other ones look like. So the next thing I want to do is create a trunk for my tree. And so I have this piece of cardboard here that I had trimmed off of the original for the 8x10. And I just drew down as far as it was from the bottom of the tree to the bottom of the 8x10 cardboard. And I'm going to wrap this in some jute twine. And you see here, I'm just using my hot glue and I went all around the outside edge. Now I'm going to drag that hot glue and I will wrap this all the way around this piece of card until I get to the top, creating a jute trunk. Once I get to the top, I'm going to add a little bit more hot glue there and just lay that right on in that hot glue so that it is nice and tacked down. Just going to come in and cut the remaining of that cardboard off, and I'm going to hot glue this onto the bottom of my tree. Now it's time to head back to our words here. I chose the ones that were God-related, Christ-centered, King of Kings, hope, all of those particular types of encouragement, that particular type of encouragement, and came in and inked the edges, and I have them all in sizes so I can go from the biggest ones on the bottom to the smallest ones on the top. Once all the edges were inked, I came in with my bone folder and I gave them a curl. Super easy. You can do it with scissors if you don't have a bone folder. Just be careful, it is paper. Now I have my art glitter glue and I'm going to come in and glue the pieces to the bottom. I wasn't liking the way those longer ones were looking, so I took them off and went to the shorter pile and did the same thing and then glued them straight down with a curl. So I glued to the third little ring right there up from the tree and then some underneath at the bottom so I could actually loop my paper around and create a swoosh with my words on this tree. I did that process all the way up until the tree was full with encouraging words. Now I have some vintage drops here by Nouveau. These I've had in my stash just as long as I did that other glitter paste. This seemed to do fine in the bottles. I was able to use these. Some of them were a little thick and I had to just give them a real good shake. But I have several different soft Victorian type colors here. I held it to the colors that were pretty much involved with the backgrounds I already did. And I just went along and put 3 little dots of each color all over the back of my board to give some more dimension and texture to this piece. Now I just wanted to come in and remind you that this is a Take 5 collaboration and this is our mixed media magic. Our hosts are Christy with Funky Junk Inspiration and Jeanie with Jeanie's Palette. The playlist and links to their channel will be in my description box below. Please go and check these ladies out. This is such a fun collab. I love mixed media. I haven't done it in so long. I'm glad my products are still usable at this point in time, and I really do love how this turned out. This does not have to just be out at Christmas time. You can leave this out all winter. You can leave it out all year if you want. There's really nothing to this that necessarily says Christmas except the shape of the tree, but I think it turned out adorable. To add one last little embellishment to this, and this is a Glimmer Mist alcohol spray, and it has just a little bit of glimmer, like maybe some mica powder in there, and I just spritzed it all over my page here, my picture here, to give it a little bit more something something. This is another one that has been in my stash for years. I got this when Tuesday morning was still thriving, so that tells you how long I've had it. And there you have it, my crafty friends. I love the way this turned out. This is a very large piece. I will link the video of me creating that piece. That frame, I believe, is a 14 by 20 with an 11 by 14 mat with an 8 by 10 photo insert area, which I put that tree in. I also have it mounted on a 12, no, that's 18-inch pedestal, and I think it turned out adorable. I will link how I made that frame setup in my description box below, so you can check that out. Guys, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, I hope you will consider doing so now by hitting that subscribe button. If you want to know when my next video has gone live, hit that bell notification and YouTube should notify you. As always, guys, stay safe, God bless, and bye for now.